Hi, I'm Winston Wittes with Find Your Flow, and today I'm going to be talking about a three-step simple process that you can use to achieve more flow in your life. Now, this activity that I'm going to be doing today is the guitar, and the cool thing is with this system, the three-step sequence that I'm about to lay out for you, you can actually apply to any activity that you want to experience more flow with and while doing. So the first, and you may want to write this down, and just maybe you already know this intuitively, but I find that it really helps to just kind of write it out in an outline form. The first is have an outcome in mind. So sometimes I feel like I'll sit down on one of my instruments or some activity and I'll just start noodling. I'll just mess around, and that's great, that's fun, but it's really not very productive time. It's not focused, and it doesn't always lead to flow. It can be just time wasted. So in order to get the most flow out of it and the most benefit overall is to be able to have some kind of focus. And again, this can be applied to any activity that you want to experience more growth and more flow in. So having an outcome or a goal and make it specific. So for example, today for this exercise, let's say I want to be able to play a major scale at 140 beats per minute where I'm playing quarter notes. And so that is going to be my goal. It's very specific. I want to be able to play a major scale, so I've determined the type of scale. I've also determined the speed or the tempo. And this having something that works with time is if you can figure out how to set your goal to work with time, and it doesn't have to be a long-term goal. Like let's say, oh, I want to be able to shred this guitar in, at 180 beats per minute, playing eighth notes or 16th notes, and I want to be able to do that within the next 2 years. Well, that's a long-term goal, and that's great. So how do you break it down into a goal, into a step that you can do right now? You're not going to be able to go from 0 to, to 180 in one day, in one 15-minute or however long you're going to sit down and practice or work on your activity. So what is realistic for this amount of time? Second is break it down, chunk it down into a small piece that you can do right now. So the first is have your outcome in mind, make it a clear goal that you're working towards. Two is break it down into the smallest step that you can take action on right now and that you can work on while you're going towards this flow state. Third is balancing your level of skill with the challenge level that you are going after. Whether you're a beginner, first time picking up your activity, whether it be guitar or whatever, or if you're super advanced, there's some level where you're going to be able to balance out your skill, your talent, with the level of challenge. And that's key, because if it's too easy, you're going to get bored, you're going to, what's the point? If it's too difficult, you may get frustrated and walk away from it. So the key is really just to find your level of balance between your skill level and the challenge. So for example, for today, I've got my handy dandy metronome on my phone. So if you don't have a metronome, you can get a free app, which is what I have, and that's that clicky thing. And you'd be surprised how many things you can apply to using a clicky metronome. You can pick up a real metronome for 15, 20 bucks. Definitely a worthwhile investment. So I've got this right now at 81 beats per minute. So every time it clicks, over the course of 1 minute, it's going to click 81 times. So I'm going to start by just playing a simple scale, the major scale that I want to work on. Alright, so that's quarter notes. So for me, that's fairly easy. I've done that enough times. It's not very much of a challenge. So if I want to challenge myself, I could either make the scale more challenging by maybe adding a new pattern that I haven't practiced, such as this. So I did two things there. I actually doubled the time that I'm playing, so I played it twice as fast, and I threw in a new pattern. So that's and that kind of illustrates what I'm saying, which is, for me, just playing the scale is pretty boring and kind of tedious almost. But if I make it twice as fast and play a new pattern, it's a little more challenging, it's a little more fun for me. That's where my level of challenge matches my level of skill. So those three things, I think if you apply those to your activities this week, this month, you can figure out how to, and let's shut this off, how you can use this to experience more flow in whatever activity. So once again, to review, write down your outcome, have a clear goal in mind that you're working towards. Number 2, break that goal down into the smallest piece that you can take action on right now, whenever you're going to sit down and apply time or stand up and work on this specific skill or activity that you want to experience flow in. Then break it down in that small piece. And then 3 is find the balance of your challenge, the challenge level that you're working on, and your skill level. If it's too hard, find a way to break it down a little further, make it easier. Maybe at first, like if you're using the guitar example, maybe you would just do the first string, just back and forth, just to get those fingers coordinated. Then I would do just the next string. This is how I work with students, is I just break it down really easy so that it's smooth and consistent, and they can do it, get to the point where they're doing it even without thinking. So I can talk while I'm playing this, and the muscle memory is kicked in because I've done this so many times. Then I could go to the next string, same thing. And each of these on its own is pretty easy, and somebody can pick it up really quick and start to flow with this. And then as they get a little more advanced, I'll maybe have them put the strings together. And when they can do this pretty easy, then I'll teach them a new pattern, and then they can work with that. So that is your Find the Flow example for this month. Thanks for tuning in, and please feel free to share this with anyone who you think might appreciate it. And if you have any ideas for flow activities or skills that you'd like me to demonstrate how to apply this 3-step system to, then I would love to work that out. So send me an email at info@findyourflow.com. Once again, I'm Winston for Find Your Flow. Thanks so much. Take care and have a great day.